Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in this world. Happy Saturday as well. And I am wow. I'm a little overwhelmed, as you can see, but I'm very excited to just be here. And I do want to preface everything that I'm about to say. Mercury is still retrograde. We know that. And you maybe know, if you saw my last live streams, you see how Mercury has had a major impact on me. And, I was actually going to show you my chart real quick just to show you how significant Mercury retrograde is. Certain ones, too. This is Mercury retrograde in Leo. We have not had Mercury retrograde in Leo. I would say since 2017. It could have been 2017, 2018. So every Mercury retrograde is a different vibe. And then also, as you know, this weekend, Mars opposite Saturn. That was hard. That was very hard. So I want to hear. I love seeing y'all. Thank you. I missed y'all. How are y'all doing? Thank you so much for joining. So Mars opposite Saturn. That's in the works. That perfected yesterday, and then we have Mars opposite Neptune. Mars is in Libra. Mars is detriment, or we also call it exiled in Libra. Mars doesn't do so well in Libra, and it's just a strange dynamic that's happening with Mars in Libra having all these aspects. And when you think about Libra, not a lot of people know that Saturn is exalted in Libra. And Mars is the ruler for Aries. Saturn's in Aries. There's a lot that we could, really get tangled up with here. But there's also really great other aspects that Mars is having with Pluto. Mars is trining. There's just so much happening, but it's all in your forecast. And I was happy to do that video, the live stream with S.J. Anderson. We walked through it because this is all happening with the full moon in Aquarius today. Y'all, this is a big deal. So happy full moon in Aquarius. It happened really early in the morning. And this full moon, I think that I told you in your monthly forecast, in your August forecast, that this full moon, it's a big one. And it's one of my favorite full moons. And not only, I'm not saying that because I am an Aquarius. And yes, it, passed over my sun, my Venus, my midheaven. So I'm really feeling it. I might even be a little emotional today for many reasons. It's just been a long journey to get to this point with the Great Awakener. As you know, that was meant to launch June 29th. There were setbacks because Mercury was retrograde. And I can't even begin to tell you what it's like to try to launch something work on something while Mercury's retrograde. But I love this full moon, and I hope that everybody really feels this full moon. It's enormous. And it's one of those full moons where it's Aquarius. It's all about the collective, okay? And there's aspects with Uranus being in Gemini, Uranus being Aquarius's ruler, all the other aspects. You throw all the aspects in here, yeah? Aquarius is a sign of humanity. It's the collective. This is a collective awakening this weekend. And so that's why I really love it. And that is what my site is all about, the Great Awakener. And we'll talk about it. I'm excited to show you the new site and also walk you through some things. But for this full moon, for every sign, it really is going to have a different impact on your life in different ways. Every sign's going to feel it in different ways. But remember, it's still happening with all those other martial aspects. And the big takeaway, to be honest, is remember Saturn is conjuncting Neptune right now. And Neptune is retrograde, Saturn's retrograde. And it's part of the prism portal. It's the word I made up for this rare minor grand trine that we have never experienced in modern human history. So we're all moving into this brand new era where we have no idea what to expect. But as I always say, we create our reality. Yeah. The universe didn't create us. We create the universe. So this full moon is part of all that other energy that's happening behind the scenes where Neptune retrograde, I told you, you may start seeing deception, right? Even with Saturn conjuncting Aries, there's this sense of what's real, what's not real. You're seeing a little bit of information overload. You're seeing a lot of different things happening with technology, a lot of progress in technology, a lot of things that are being released that you're just like, whoa. I mean, 2 years ago, nobody knew what AI was, right? And that's Uranus and Gemini, but that's also your mind, right? I've told you, Uranus moving into Gemini the first time in 84 years. We're all feeling that because when Uranus moves into a sign, when Uranus ingresses into a new sign, into one that is very different from the last one it was in, you feel it. And so there's a lot of things that are opening your mind and expanding your consciousness, and you're learning new things and you're absorbing new things. And so with this weekend, I want you to know that there is going to be some focus on the collective, and it's shining this big light, right? Full moons illuminate, right? There's always a turning point. And the fact that it's in Aquarius and the sun is in Leo, it's a very interesting, I think I said in my last live stream, just this weekend, as I said in your monthly forecast, is the most bonkers weekend. It's just like, what is happening type of weekend. Just know that it's all about how you are contributing to the collective and you having your great awakening. Remember, Uranus is breaking things down for us to have that breakthrough. And so things may feel a little bit chaotic, especially this weekend with Mars opposite Saturn. There's just, again, Mercury retrograde. There is so much happening. So much happening. And so it could feel a little eye-opening. Yeah. But Aquarius has always been revolution. Yeah. The humanitarian. And its ruler Uranus, again, is shaking things up and showing you things that you need to see in your personal life. But again, focus on the collective and this big awakening that we're going through. And it's just going to get stronger and stronger. Remember, the North Node moved into Pisces earlier this year. It's going to be there until July 2026, South Node in Virgo. Well, I'm talking about that because we are moving into Virgo season in what day is today? August 9th. 2 weeks. And the fact that the North Node in Pisces, that is a huge movement in spirituality in itself. So there's this big spiritual awakening. And again, I am so excited to just talk about the Great Awakener, which I've been giving you little snippets of it. And I never really wanted to say anything concrete or solid about it while Mercury's retrograde. Mercury was in shadow for a little bit, before we even got to this point. So just, trust your intuition this entire weekend. Focus on that compassion. North Node in Pisces, full moon in Aquarius. I love all this energy, but it can feel a little bit, there can be that squeeze with Mars opposite Saturn. I was actually, you know what? Maybe I'll show you just real quickly. I'm going to show you very quickly just my chart just to show you what this has been like. Okay. And by the way, that is wait, do you see that? You see the chart? Okay. I was going to show you right here. You can see Mercury down here in my third house, right? And that is today, right? So Mercury's still retrograde. But what's really interesting is I'm going to just go back real quick and just show you something here. I'm going to go all the way back to the day that the site was supposed to launch. And that would be June 29th. You see that right here? That's when I did the live stream with y'all. And then you see Mercury right here at 3 degrees opposite Pluto, right? And then there's a lot of other things that I can point out, but that's the day when Mercury went into shadow. And I've talked about Mercury in shadow, and you see Mercury moving, all the degree points is moving. And then it's just been going opposite my sun, my Venus, my midheaven. And third house is communication. It's technology. It's the internet. It's you and me speaking. And so you can see that it went retrograde on the 17th. It's going to go red right there, 15 degrees. And so when I keep going, July 19th, July 20th, it's going back over those degrees. So it's been opposite everything in my chart, but you see it was squaring my Uranus and my 6th house of work. Yeah, there's been some things that have been happening. So, and this is something that, again, like and you see now, even today, there's that, today, there we go. Well, I got to go by the hour, but you can see that the sun is opposite the moon right there, around 3:30. Yeah, you see that right there. So it's at, it's at 17 degrees. Yeah. So there's your full moon. But it's been very interesting because the sun has been opposite my sun. And anyway, I'm not gonna, that's it. Let me turn this off. But anyway, that's something that we're gonna do. And that's, as you know, with the Great Awakener, everything that we're doing with the Great Awakener that I really wanted to do is just teach you these things so you can do this on your own, right? So you can see what may be coming up for you. I'm working on your weekly forecast right now. And I you know that we have a new moon, right? In Virgo coming up this month, but we also have eclipse season in September. So we have a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces and another new moon, but a new moon solar eclipse in Virgo. So we have 2 back-to-back new moons in Virgo. One is a solar eclipse. Eclipses are 100 times the power of a new moon. September's gonna be off the charts. And again, this is why I do this for you. I want you to plan, and I want you to be prepared for any big things that may be happening. The more that you're prepared, the more that things are in your consciousness, even with Mercury retrograde, when you know it's coming up, you handle it easier rather than things being surprising or unexpected for you. And one thing that I'm mentioning is that solar eclipse in Virgo, that will happen, yeah, in September at 29 degrees. I'm a Virgo moon, y'all know that, at 29 degrees. And so that eclipse is happening right on top of my moon, okay, in Virgo, in my natal chart, my birth chart. So that already gives me an idea of, okay, September 21st will be really big for me. And I know that there's going to be major change happening in my life. And so what have I been telling you every day or every week what to do every day this summer? Put yourself where you want to be by February 2026 with the prison portal. But all the aspects I give you, you can use. There's lower expressions, higher expressions, but that's just something that I'm excited about, okay, for the site. So I wanted to walk you through the Great Awakener. And it's, again, it is turned into something a lot bigger than originally planned. So with the Mercury retrograde, when you're meant to go redo, reassess, revisit things, reevaluate things, remember, Saturn's retrograde, Neptune's retrograde, Pluto's retrograde. I think Chiron's officially retrograde. Ceres is going retrograde. There's a lot of retrogrades right now. So you've been going within a lot. But with this Mercury retrograde, when the site, when there was that situation, and if you saw my last live stream, and a lot of y'all may not have. So this, remember, it's not just Mercury retrograde. I have Uranus. Remember, Uranus is in Gemini as of July 7th. I'm a 0 degree Gemini rising. Uranus is in Gemini at 0 degrees, right? So I'm also feeling that really strongly. And maybe, perhaps you have seen Uranus on my ascendant with Mercury retrograde. Yeah. And how I've been experiencing that. And to break it down even further, the fact that I am a Virgo moon and a Gemini rising, Mercury is a ruler for those two signs. If you have anything in Virgo, if you're in your top 3 or Gemini, you would feel Mercury retrograde the most. Now, I have both of those, but I am also in Aquarius. And Aquarius, like I said, is ruled by Uranus. Uranus happens to be in Gemini. Uranus happens to be the higher octave of Mercury. That is a ruler for Gemini. And so I really feel the impacts of Mercury retrogrades. But with Uranus on my ascendant, Uranus, as you know, I said, is all about freedom, freeing yourself. It's breakthroughs. And everyone's feeling this right now. But it is also breakdowns for those breakthroughs. And you have seen it come at me. It's gotten my mind. It came from my body. I think that y'all know I'm still in physical therapy. I had a couple injuries. Yes, multiple injuries just within the past 5 weeks. It broke my computer. I had to buy a new computer. And with Mercury retrograde, I found out that the issue that I had with the old computer wasn't an issue at all. It was with the mic. It's a whole thing. But that's what I'm saying. Everyone's going through this great awakening right now. And one of the reasons why I am grateful for what happened is because I was able to reassess this website where it was just going to be live streams where I do a little bit more and I speak a little bit more about content that I can't say on YouTube. And it just turned into a bigger thing. And yes, I worked 14 hours a day for 5 weeks straight. It's been bonkers. And everything that you think that could go sideways did, even this morning when I had to go walk Ruby, before I came back. My phone just for some reason didn't charge and it was dead. And I was planning that hour to take notes. So it's been a wild time, but Mercury is going direct in 2 days. We're very excited about that. I'm feeling really good with the full moon in Aquarius and knowing that everything that I went through, I was meant to learn. There was many things I was meant to learn. And I feel like it was all about the experiences that I had because I had experiences with other people that have been working with me on this website, making it a bigger thing. And just this, it was just something that I felt deep down in my soul was, we need to do this and it needs to get this big because I could have pulled the plug and I could have said, original plan, just make it simple. I think that what is going to be offered is going to be everything that I wanted anyway, but in a way where I'm able to offer more features for everyone that signs up and becomes members. And it will launch August 12th. That is non-negotiable because as you know, and everyone here, whoever's listening, August 12th would be the luckiest day of August because it's when Venus, Jupiter, and Sirius are having this triple conjunction, the 2 benefic planets. So once we get out of this Mars-Saturn opposition, we move direct, Mercury goes direct, no longer retrograde, and then we have that moment on Tuesday. And so next week is going to be a very different feel from the past week. And so again, this has been really, really humbling for me because there were many moments where I had moments. Yeah, I had my moments, but I'm just very grateful for how it turned out. And so I'm just going to share my screen real quick because I do want to show you the new site because we walked through just kind of like a test site. And this is going to be a little bit of a test site as well because it's not. And that's the other thing with Mercury retrograde. Yeah, we didn't meet the deadline. Well, it will be ready by August 12th because there are some features we're going to be tweaking this weekend. So I'm just going to show you the test site, right? That will be the best way to do it. And again, the developer that I've been working with everyone that I've been working with has been absolutely just, I just feel like the experiences that we had together, we learned a lot from each other. And I think I said in my last live stream, he is just this genius, and just been very patient with me. I've been patient with him, and it's just been everyone else involved. And I'm just very grateful. Okay, so let me show you the platform. Let me share my screen. And the other thing, remember, Mercury's retrograde. Okay, so there's got to be some features that I'm going to tell you now that I won't be able to announce until the actual launch date of August 12th, because I do not want to make those announcements during Mercury retrograde, where things can go a little sideways. So that's one thing. Secondly, this, like I said, has turned into something bigger than originally intended, and you're going to see the difference from this side and the older side, and the, you know, a lot of features here. And there's a lot of features that are to come that will roll out next week that are so exciting. I think that I told you from the get-go when I was hiring this new developer. And by the way, yeah, I this whole process, the past 5 weeks, oh my goodness. I think that you heard about the scams that I had, the fraud that I had. It was the first time I received death threats as well from someone that I hired to do something else and didn't do the project. And it was just, it's been a bonkers week. It's been a very emotional journey. It's been a wild 5-week ride, but we're here. I feel very good. I'm very happy to be here with you. Does anybody have any questions before I show you the site, or should we, you want to just, let's do it. Let me share my screen. And the first thing that I told the developer when we were discussing the site, remember, I told him, and this is me being an Aquarius and maybe with Uranus on my ascendant, I said, I want a site that looks like it was made in 2027. I want it very, very, you know, just, I am an Aquarius. I think ahead. And so again, it just looks fantastic. And some of those features that I'm discussing will be rolled out next week. And I'm going to go over a couple of those, but let me pull up the site here for you. I got to figure out where the screen went. Mercury's retrograde. Look at the banner. Thank you, Brad. I love that. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and walk you through the site. And if there's any questions, let me do that. Let me do this first, and then I'll get to your questions, because I think that I'm going to answer a lot of your questions too. All right, where is it? Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready to see greatawakener.com? And by the way, also, you can use thegreatawakener.com. It's redirected to greatawakener.com. I'll stop talking. You know I'm a Gemini rising. So this is just the test site, and this is the landing page. And I made it very, I love just the visuals, but again, it just turned into something bigger than I had. It's a great developer. It turned into something bigger than I had expected. So we're just going to scroll through that. And again, this all has to do with, I mentioned this a couple months ago. The reason why I'm doing the site is because, well, I quit my full-time job to do this because I felt called. And remember how I do your forecast. I do your, astrology, tarot, horoscope forecast, all 12 signs. I've done that for 3 years. And that's all I wanted to do. Yeah. Because I'm so passionate about it. And I just want, I'm an Aquarius, but you'll see my chart. Last year, I did come out as psychic or clairvoyant because I always have been since I was a kid. I never really discussed it with anybody. I did do live stream. I was a guest on Inspired Evolution, where I talked a little bit more about my background and the experiences that I had. And, I used to do psychic readings and etc. But I never really wanted to be known for that. I never really wanted y'all to know that I had these abilities. And it's more of like a thing where through my life experiences, I kind of wanted to hide it. But I kept getting these messages, and I knew that 2025 was going to be when everything starts changing. And that's why here, it's just a little bit of information of why I started this site. And I just feel like we're in a place right now where for the next few years, things are going to, I talked about that breakdown for that breakthrough. There's got to be some moments. There's got to be some events. And I explain it here, and you'll be able to see this on the site when it's ready. But there's a lot that's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of changes. And I want everyone to be in a position right now to expand their consciousness. And I've talked about that. Remember, everything upstairs, 90% subconscious, 10% conscious. And so we want to expand our consciousness, and that's going to really help, because that's going to help us reach this high frequency. I always talk about frequency and energy and vibrations, vibrate at a high frequency. And that high frequency is that frequency of love and compassion and gratitude and self-love. And this is everything that the site is about. So you can be your own spiritual warrior, your compassionate hero, and just have this confidence moving into some of these circumstances that may happen in the next few years. And remember, the next 2 years are the biggest, most significant years of this decade. Some would even say I would say our lifetime, but this decade. Some would say in, centuries, astrologically, right? Or even considering all the cycles, right? The cosmic cycles, astrological cycles, historical cycles, geophysical cycles, they're all converging right now. And this again is there's so much happening right now that you are seeing it in real time on the world stage. Political events, geophysical events, you're seeing it. And so I explain everything here. And then, there's me and Ruby. And so again, nothing has changed here in terms of what the benefits are. And it's the predictions that I do in my live streams. Yeah, I always run out of time. That sometimes on Instagram, if you're following me on Instagram, some predictions I, didn't even say in the live streams, when it actually happens, I'll, post a story or something. And that's the other thing is that, and it's always strange to say this, but yes, I, have a pretty good track record where I'm at 100% accuracy with my predictions. And this is over 40, 50, 60. I don't even know, but they're all in the live streams. All the receipts are in the live streams that I've done since July 2024, which does include the recent 8.8 earthquake that we had, which you can go to the August, I think it was in August of 2024 that I mentioned it, but I kept continuing to say, hey, y'all, the, nuclear incident in, Middle East, I predict that a month before. So everything, and I don't want to sit here just going through, but I'm just telling you that the reason why is because I trust the source, my source. I trust the information I receive. And all of it, if you watch these prediction live streams, I'm just giving you the messages. I'm not biased. I'm not telling you to choose a side. I'm not telling you no, it's all from the heart and the soul. It's just to help you expand your consciousness and let you know that there are some events that are going to get a little bit more. Yeah. And so that's one thing that you'll see that I want to do is even have these courses where you are going to be a little bit, everyone has intuition. everyone can do this. Some people are, yes, wired a different way, right? I wasn't wired as an athlete, as Michael Jordan, right? Everyone's wired a different way. And I was wired a little bit strongly. I even remember having a conversation with my mom recently, and I was telling her about this memory that I had of just like her sister looking in on me and just doing this thing. And I remember also like a trip to the zoo, and I remember thinking in my head at that time, I'm gonna like walk really cute for my mom and whatnot. And she was like, Jimmy, you were 2 years old. How do you remember that? And so I think that I also talked about, I used to fall into trances when I was young, and I just thought it was normal. And anyway, whole thing, like maybe, and that's the thing here. I want to teach you and educate you on all of that. And we'll go through that later. But that's what I want to do. That's here. Okay. So there is a lot of courses, astrology, tarot, everything here. You see spirituality. There's a lot of courses. This is what is expanded into. And you see that it's, yeah, it won't be just me. There's other people that will come on board, and people that I personally vet, and everything is energy. And you know that that's a big thing for me. And I'm excited to introduce this new generation, is what I'm calling it, like this new generation of these amazing astrologers and experts. And yeah. And so, yeah, so you see it'll be longer predictions, and then the channeling. Yeah. So a lot of people have questions about that too. Remote viewing and channeling, bringing a lot of things to the surface that are happening behind the scenes. So you've seen my live streams. I see things that are happening behind the scenes. And this is the stuff that I can't say on YouTube. And I know that I got a lot of slack for that, but now you see why. Okay. And I said in my last live stream, last year, I saw what was going to happen this year, and I couldn't say it. And I just was like, I have to be vague about some of the things that I say. But now you're seeing pretty much anyone on this platform, they will preface things by saying, oh, I can't talk about this, and I can't use these words, but because it's an actual reality that you're seeing in social media platforms. And so when you talk about sensitive information or sensitive events and whatnot, yeah, you can be flagged. Yeah, you can be, shadow banned or deplatformed, things like that. Yeah. But that's the thing. Sometimes there are certain words you can't say. But anyway, it's one of the reasons why I'm bringing this to my own site, to the Great Awakener, because I want to be able to speak freely and not worry about it. And yeah, I'm going to tell you everything. And even the channeled messages, I tell y'all, this is when if you're going to watch these particular videos, you're going to have to be at least medium awake. There's going to be, and I think I said this in my last live stream, there's going to be some subject matter that I discuss, some things that I have seen as I remote viewed and even channeled that I could not believe. And it was almost like even like in denial. And to the point that I had to go to other channelers and look at their content and binge their content to see if they saw the same things that I saw. Confirmed. So I feel a lot better saying some of the things that I've seen, and it's gonna go really deep. But I think it's also a great time or it would be a great way to even, again, like teach you how to channel, teach you how to remote view, talk about things that are big subject matters that I'll explain what when you download messages, even when you get visions, where, even after you're meditating, we'll talk about things are being hidden from us. Antarctica, right? I'll talk about ancient civilizations and the contacts that I've had. Yeah. But then it's astrology too. I want to teach you astrology, and I do that in your forecast anyway. I throw some things in there so you can learn a little bit more. And that's why my forecasts are so long, because I really want you to know why certain things are happening and maybe the archetype of a planet and what it means when it's in a certain sign. And so even just the basics in astrology, where you can just know things like the elements and modalities and, what is your birth chart? And yeah, we'll do a lot about birth charts, even just basic. And I get so many questions. Sun, moon, rising. We'll explain it. I'll explain it all. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest questions or comments I get from a lot of y'all. Because what I love about my channel is that I merge astrology and tarot, right? For your readings. I start with astrology. I do the tarot. And you see that the tarot just pretty much aligns with the astrology. So it's affirmation. But I get a lot of new subscribers that don't know astrology, but they know tarot, and vice versa. And so I get a lot of people that may be in their 50s or their 60s who have never heard of their rising sign or their ascendant. And so this is something that brings me so much joy, where I can teach them and I can introduce them to astrology, which has been used for thousands of years. We're going all the way back to, we can even go to the Sumerians, but that's another thing. I'll tell you about astrology and where it came from. But there's even different types of astrology. Yeah. I mean, predictive, there's horary, there's, obviously Western, Vedic, there's evolutionary. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but just so much we can talk about there. And yeah, the, intuition, I want to help you develop your intuition. Okay. And we'll go into it. I'll talk about the science of it and the history of it, and even like how intuition was such a big part of ancient cultures. I'll talk about, energy work. We'll talk about the clairs. Yeah. So, and even tools like tuning forks, sound. We'll talk about sound. Sound is healing. It's frequency. It's energy. It's vibration. Crystals. We'll go into crystals. I'll let you know the difference between channeling and trusting your intuition. And we'll talk about signs and synchronicity, like everything, numerology, everything. We'll go through all of it. I want you to know this stuff. And it's something that I really want to I get excited thinking about how much I can teach you here. But yeah, that's the other thing. And one thing that probably, I don't know if it's here. One thing that I will would be another live stream, another category. And again, this is just general. Remember, this is just a test site. So, but a lot of the subject matter that I will talk about and discuss is our, let's say like our lost history. Let's say like global circumstances that have been happening for a really long time concerning a lot of people in power. Yeah. And so that's just a thing. Okay. That's just a thing. And we'll talk about that, because one thing that I do want to demystify is that a lot of the things that I may talk about and discuss, some people may view it as, let's say, conspiracy, right? I'm not a conspiracist. I think everybody knows that. But that's the thing. A good majority of conspiracies have been proven to actually be true. But some people don't know that. And the word conspiracy itself is so, it can be triggering. Just me saying that word, everyone reacts to it differently, right? Because it's been attached to this low energy frequency for decades, for a long time. And that's why I want to do this in a way that's coming from a place that you can trust. Yeah. Where I'm not trying to steer you one way or another. I just want to bring things to the surface, and you can make your own decision. But there was a lot of things that have been fought or silenced for a long time. And it's always been, I mean, if you want to go, I've talked about this, like even the fact that we were told, I don't like, for hundreds of years, you know, how they said that Earth was the center of the universe, and then we had some people that said, you know, I think this was back in the 1500s when, you know, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius. Well, you know, there were certain people that said that, well, that's heresy, even though they had all the data. And so again, there are certain things that always, and you saw that with even like, I don't know, Edward Snowden, for instance, the NSA documents that he revealed, and he worked there. I mean, so it's just like anyway, so that's another thing that was like all conspiracy, but it was true. It's true. Right? Just a lot of things. There's so many things. I mean, we can talk about the Dead Sea Scrolls. We can talk about you know, even Iraq with like, I don't know, post 2003, right? That invasion. Yeah, were y'all, yeah, when it was insisted upon that there was a certain world leader that had you know, weapons of mass destruction, and the UN went and inspected, and there was, you know, all the data proved that there was none. And so I'll tell you why what actually happened, and the reason why that was, yeah. And obviously UAPs as a thing, and you know, our brains have been trained to think of, when we think of UAPs or UFOs, like, oh, we think of, you know, it's just always like, but it's like been recorded like way back in, like, even like cave drawings. So anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about tarot. There's a lot here. I'm excited. You're going to get a lot more information when it launches. There's some things here that I'm not even gonna, and remember, this is all live streams. That's what makes this, you know, really unique, and it's very exciting for me, because it's just like, here, me with you, we're connecting. This is energy, so it's different from other sites where, you know, if you become a member, maybe you get the benefit like of maybe one live stream a month. This is all live streams. I do believe in the power of connection. I believe in the power of connecting with you. I'm an Aquarius. My Aquarius sun is conjuncting my Venus, conjuncting my midheaven in my 9th house of spirituality, of higher mind, of education, of teaching. So I really, truly believe that this is the best way, right? And so I'm really excited about that. And what else? Okay, so we see that, and then they're just, again, there's a lot of things here that you're gonna see. Okay, you're gonna see there's like a frequently asked question page at the bottom, and then I can't even, yeah. So you would even like, okay, so this is gonna be how it works. This is, well, maybe. Yeah, remember, I'm in the test site, so I'm not even but this is where the live streams would always be here, and there would be a content calendar with all the live streams that are available, the events, the courses, whatever it is, and you're going to get even digital journals. So, and the feature that I love about that is that it'll be on every page, so even during live streams, you can take notes. You're going to have your own journal. You can add things. So again, I'm just in the test site, just doing a little bit of a, yeah. So that's that. And then I also love this, where you're going to have this community. And again, just think this is going to change. It's just the test site, right? So, but this is going to be like a, you know, like a community forum, like a light Reddit, where you can interact with each other and converse with each other. And one of the reasons why I'm building these features, and I thought these features were great, is because I do want to keep this site at a very high frequency. And if you see what's happening on other social media platforms, it's sometimes hard going on them. And this site is a way where it's a safe space. And I don't want doom scrolling here. I don't want doom and gloom here. I don't want people going at each other. This is going to be a safe space where we can discuss anything, world events, history, the classes, your spiritual moments, anything right here. But again, high frequency, everything is made of energy. And when I say that, it is the thoughts in your head. It's the words that come out of your mouth. It's the things that you write. You're putting that into the ether, right? We all know about the law of attraction. We all know about energy. And so that's why I want to do this, because I truly want to build this community. And that's why it is going to be a member. One of the reasons why it's going to be a membership site is to keep it gated, because I don't want bots. I don't want those bots. I don't want the trolls. I don't want any of that. Again, there's a certain, even with some of the subject matter that I'm discussing, yes, there are some circles out there where it may verge on some things they say, but again, I want to distinguish it in a place where you can trust the source, which would be me. Speaking of which, by the way, last thing I'm going to show you is, oh, look at that. That's another headshot. I'm going to change that one. But there you go. There's my chart. And so I'm just going to be very transparent here. So here's my bio. Yeah. And I tell you a little bit more about me. But I give you my full chart, whether it's Placidus, whether it's whole sign. And you can read for yourself. I listed all the aspects, and you can run this through ChatGPT, whatever you want. But if you know astrology, you'll know that. So I listed all the aspects that make me a spiritual leader. I even showed you up here, like, look at that's happening in my 9th house, right? And then my moon is in Virgo. I've told you that Virgo is all about service to others, and the moon is that nurturing. Like, you get it, but it's all here. It's all here. I can't tell a lie. I can't tell a lie. I have my Mercury in Capricorn. I can't. I mean, so you'll see the aspects here in terms of what makes you able to trust me and the information that I get, and some aspects here that show that I was wired for what I do, and why I'm willing to work 14-hour days, 10 to 14-hour days through 3 injuries of the past 5 weeks to build this for you. You even know, while I started your channel, I did it on the side. This YouTube channel, yeah, I had a full-time job. I've been working 60 hours weeks for 2 years. So we gotta fix that typo. But anyway, there's that. Okay. And so that's a very quick run through. But there will be like archived videos. So even if you can't make the live streams, there's gonna be a page where they're all archived. You can watch them all. And I think that maybe, did I miss something? I was gonna show you something else. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm going to share the screen one more time. Mercury retrograde. But yeah, so here it is. Okay, so it's on the main page, but this is where the I love that logo. So this is where the live stream would be. And that's the thing. Once you remember, you don't need to, you just come on. Yeah, at the time, again, there's going to be the calendar that you'll be able to see. I'll even send you weekly emails to show you what's upcoming, and there's this, recent predictions, but all the frequently asked questions here that, yeah. And then, the testimonial. I love this. And so there's even a testimonials page. So I took some of your comments, and I, even though it's public on, YouTube, I still just, but there's a lot here, even emails. But anyway, you're going to be able to see those later. Again, there should be, this is the test site. So there's some things that are going to change. But there's a lot of things are going to, that's going to be there. And so I think there's a lot here for you. And there's a lot of features, like I said, that will be rolled out later after August 12th, just because we had to work during Mercury retrograde and it was not easy. It wasn't easy. But yeah. And there will be like courses and syllabuses and all of that. But again, everything starting August 12th, that's when it's going to be live. That's when you can, join. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a preview. And, again, just starting this website, it was just really exciting for me. My goal for this website, for thegreatawakener.com, not only for you to expand your consciousness, but just to help inspire you and empower you in any way possible. So even if you're not into astrology, all the stuff with divination, if you're not into that, all the stuff with tarot, if you're not into that, there's got to be just so much channeling. There's going to be predictions. Like there's always going to be something for you in this space. Yeah. The spirituality space. And so I'm really excited. And yes, we can change our future. And that would be in the frequently asked questions. And so even though we are going to have these experiences, and I've given you a lot of examples of how I have seen certain things change in our future. And when I say that I'm 100% accurate, as a psychic or clairvoyant, channeling, remote viewing, all of that, I have my own method that makes that possible the way that I do it. And I explain that on the site as well. But I want you to know that I am very aware of the fact that timelines do change. Yeah. And a lot of it depends on our frequency. And I explain how we're a collective. And the higher the frequency of the collective, the more that we receive and the more that we can change things. Okay. Because even if you were to think about the fact that, let's just take, for example, the fact that, and this is a fact, we all know this, that, what is it? I think it's 7%. It's 1 to 7% of the world population out of the 8 billion people on this planet. All right. 1 to 7% hold all the power and wealth. Okay. We can change that. We can change that. But it starts with being aware. It starts with expanding your consciousness. It starts with self-love and self-belief. It starts with taking inspired action. And you've seen how when the collective gets together, it can change things. Yeah? They can change things. So yeah, of course we can change our future. Of course we have that power. But I want to be able to give people the tools to be able to get to that point. All right? And yes, so courses, classes, all that's going to be announced next week when the site is launched on August 12th. And one other thing is, yes, I've said that it's going to be free, but for most of the features, including the live streams and the calendar and there's got to be a digital, a virtual. There's just something really big that I really want to tell you now, but I got to wait until Mercury goes direct. There's got to be something really exciting that I'm really excited to show you. Really, really excited. And again, that was just a test site. There's going to be a lot more. And that's why I'm just excited for August 12th from that moment forward. But yeah, so membership. I just don't want to tell you the price now or the rate now because Mercury's retrograde. And that's why I don't want to tell you a lot of, the exact courses. There's just still changes that happen every day. Even this morning, like I was supposed to have access to the actual thing and I didn't. So I'm waiting until Mercury goes direct. But I can tell you, remember I said this Mercury retrograde has been a blessing in disguise. I was able to actually get it down lower. And I'm well aware of the fact that not every one of, y'all like subscribers and members are even interested or would be interested in that. I know that you love your horoscopes, your forecasts here. That's fine. Nothing here is changing. I told you that, right? So what I did is I just kind of bundled it in a way where you can still be here and then join that, but at a very, 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 very affordable, let's say affordable, right? Reasonable. And the reason why I am charging and gating it is, again, there's a certain kind of frequency I want to keep it at. Okay. And don't want to bring in the bots and all the, it's just like you go on Twitter these days, you don't know what's real. You don't know what's. So anyway, that's one thing. There's certain people who are not even ready to awaken. And so they, I just don't, when they're ready to awaken, they would come to this site. Okay. The other thing is I discovered through this process, Mercury retrograde, that it costs a lot more to run a site like this than I had anticipated. So that's another reason why. It's to keep this afloat. And of course, the more members there are, the more features that we can offer, the more courses we can offer. The whole idea right now, I think there's 12 to 15 live streams planned a month. But, by the time we get to next week, I don't want to make any solid announcement with Mercury retrograde, but I'll just say the idea right now is for you to have one every day. And, the more members that join, it will be many a day that you can join as a live stream. But again, if you can't even join the live streams, you'll be able to watch them all. Okay. And just, again, the biggest priority is keeping this as a safe space. Okay. Just keeping it as a safe space where I just don't want anyone here in that low energy frequency, but when they're ready to join, because again, a lot of there will be features that will be free where they can explore it and then they can make their decision. Yeah. So I think that the price points are going to be very happy with. And it's broken down by members too. If you're like tier 1 member, tier 2 member, tier 3 member, you're getting different rates. And even subscribers, different rates from the rack rate. So everyone's going to be very happy. And yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm very excited. So are there any questions? I'm just so excited. I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to introduce you to it. There's so much more to come, so much that's planned. And I think that I even told you that like I spent a lot of money on this, and I personally I'm not gonna see. I mean, like, I'm not gonna balance out for a while. But whatever. It's what I wanted to do. It's why I quit my full-time job. I really believe in this site. I really believe in doing this. I think, I'm here for the greater good. And even just doing the world astrology every month, I'm very excited about that. Because I don't do it here. There's a big difference between world astrology, mundane astrology, and your personal horoscopes, right? You're not a country. You're not you know what I mean? Like, it's very, very different. So I'm excited to do that. And, and that's world astrology. Obviously, it's just, just talking about what's happening in the world, what we can forecast, what you might be able to expect, and maybe even just giving you a little sample. Right now, remember, we have Uranus sextile Neptune. Yeah, it's part of the prison portal, but it's going to perfect at the end of August. We haven't seen that since 1964 to 1966. Now, in your weekly forecast, I will tell you what that means for you as your sign. When I do monthly mundane forecasts on, overviews on thegreatawakener.com, I'll talk about what that means for the world. And think about 1964 and 1966. Think about Uranus, breakthroughs, freedom. Yeah, even, breakdowns for breakthroughs. Neptune, compassion, spirituality. If you think about those years, 1964 to 1966, huge cultural movement. Huge. It was a Beatles. Yeah, their British invasion. There was a lot happening around that time, but you saw this beginning of like this counterculture movement. Uranus is revolution, remember, but also evolution. Yeah. So yeah, of course, it was the civil rights social movements that happened around that time. In fact, it was the Civil Rights Act. Yeah, 1964. Voting Rights Act, 1965. There was that really big wave of feminism. It was also like when we space, that was a big thing. Uranus is space. Like, remember, Pluto's in Aquarius too. Uranus is trying Pluto. I mean, Aquarius rules space. That's why I'm bringing that up. There was that space race, right? So that's what I like bringing. I mean, that's what astrology is, right? It's cycle, it's history, it's recognizing these patterns. And you're gonna see that, well, you see that we're moving in that direction, right? So that's what we would talk about on the site. But anyway, I'm gonna stop talking. You know, I'm a Gemini. I'm a 0-degree Gemini rising. I can talk. Does anybody have any questions? I feel like let me see here. Oh, okay. Oh, y'all, Pollinator, thank you so much for the super sticker. And Kristen, thank you so much too. Y'all are amazing. Erla Bjork, hello from Iceland. Where can somebody do your chart? I had it, Donald. Oh, you had it done many years ago, but the time wasn't right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, there's so if you look at the live streams I did with SJ Anderson last week, he's great. Okay, he's a great and all his information is in that video. So we did the one on the full moon in Aquarius that's happening right now. So if you haven't seen it, look at the video where it's the first 10 days of August, including the full moon in Aquarius for all 12 signs, where it's me and S.A. Anderson doing your horoscope. So, and there's something called chart rectification if you don't know your birth time. And a lot of astrologers can do that. It is time consuming. I can do it, but it's like there's a lot that goes into it. But remember, I've got Mercury opposite Mars in my chart. I'm a Gemini rising. I'm a Virgo moon. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a lot. So I can do it like fast. I can look at your chart and be like, okay, okay, you're Sagittarius rising. You're about like, you gotta look at a lot of different things. But anyway, Kristen, you said your natal nodes are opposite what is happening celestially now. Do you have thoughts on that? Yeah, I did a video on it. Okay, so check out that video. I was talking about the nodes. If you're going through your nodal return or your reverse nodal, there's a video. So it's in the live streams. You'll find it. It's in the title. All right. But yeah, you are definitely going through. Remember the nodes of fate. We borrowed it from, the Vedic astrology, and it really is like destined. Things are happening for everybody. But if you're going through your nodal return, yeah, you're gonna feel some things. You're gonna go through some changes. Leslie, great to see you. Can't wait for you to teach us how to read our own charts. Yes. Well, that's the other thing. And that's the announcement. And that's why I just I just don't want to say anything while Mercury's retrograde, because again, everything that I've said every day, I've had to for the past few weeks, I've had it just, so yes, I'm just going to give you 2 thumbs up. I'm going to give you 2 thumbs up, but it might be someone else. FYI. I just want to, but no, I'm not going to, but yes. All right. But I'll be here. Jacqueline, you signed up for the site, but got no confirmation. Oh, yeah. I don't think you get one. I don't think you get one. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to, I'm new at like this. Remember, this is very new to me launching this site. This is, a business. I've never been a entrepreneur or anything like that. This is a business. I have like 5 people working on, like, it's a business. So but in the very beginning, I had to put something up. So everyone can still go to thegreatawakener.com right now and sign up if you haven't, because I'm going to send an email to you, because you're going to put in your email the day of, and you're going to get everything, the rates, everything, even before I post something here in the community post. All right. So go ahead and sign up on greatawakener.com. It will be up there until August 12th, and you will be the first to get the update that the site is live. You can explore it. You can sign up, and you will see the rates and the courses and everything, the discount codes that y'all are getting. All right. Okay. Let me see. Carla, you said Carla Carosi, new member here. I appreciate Jimmy giving us the space to grow our connection to spiritual life. Thank you. I really appreciate you. And thank you so much for being a member. I really think that it is a time right now. And I feel like everyone is experiencing it, right? I read your comments. Y'all have been going through it. We've been going through some big moments, but you're seeing we're starting to go through moments right now as a collective. Yeah. You're going to see more of it. And I really think that I know it. It is going to be a process of a lot of different events that we are going to face as a collective, and experiences we're going to have as a collective for the next few years, even until the end of the decade. But remember, 2025, 2027, I've said this before, I've said it in the past, and you got to be the strongest, most pivotal years of the decade. It's when the prison portal started. It's when the prison portal is really strong. It's when we're going through all these cycles. They're converging right now. You're even seeing, even to the, solar flares, the solar activity. We're at peak solar side. I mean, like, I'm not, like, you can't even make this up. The Kali Yuga, everything is happening within these next few years. It's kind of bonkers when you think about it. Carrie, you said, Carrie, it's so good to see you. South Africa. I love that you're staying up late for this. Even friends of mine who do not believe are now following you, because I kept saying Jimmy says XYZ, and then it happened, and now they follow you too. Well, I really appreciate it. That's so sweet. And that's really, I'm so glad that, yeah, and that's part of, and that's amazing that you do that, because that's part of like helping others expand their consciousness too. And what's really interesting is that what you just said is part of this website, the Great Awakener, because you're going to be able to impart your own wisdom that you learn. And it's just very exciting. And I think I'm just trying to spread this so there's more of us. There's more of us that will help raise other people's frequency. And I say it all the time. We're all on a karmic journey. Yeah. Everyone is on a karmic journey. I even talk about frequency and energy all the time. Like, if it's someone that is in a low energy frequency, maybe trying to bring you into their low energy frequency, no, don't let anyone take your power, but bring them out. Help them. Let's put egos to the side. Help them. You're in a karmic journey. That's how you see these rewards and these winks from the universe and all of that. And so I think that the more that we can retrain our brains to not see labels or sides, but we're a collective. We're equal. We're all human. We're not even human beings. I say that all the time. Like, we don't have souls. Our souls have bodies, but that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other live stream. So yeah, I think that we're in a really good time where people are awakening. And it is interesting because I test a lot of things. In even my channeling sessions, things I haven't said on this site, with my friends. and gauging their reactions. And I've even I've done some reels to gauge your reactions, subscribers and members, to just, I needed to test things. And so that way I can get like a temperature check on, okay, are people ready to hear this? Or are people still about this? And if they are, what can I do to help them get out of that energy, right? So I hope that made sense. Shadow Cat, you said, hi, Jimmy, can you teach astrocartography? That is so funny that you brought that up. I don't want to answer that question while Mercury's retrograde. You'll have a lot more information when we do get to next week, when Mercury goes direct. And again, a lot of things are going to roll out too next week, but I'm going to show you something. How funny is this? When I was going, I was like, for some reason, my, map here popped up when I was showing y'all my chart, but it's so funny that you brought it. So this is astrocartography, so you can see the lines here, and I'm not going to go too much into it, but yes, this is a lot where if you were to get like a chart reading, by the way, like a full one, a lot of astrologers would go through this with you. And so you kind of look it down at, like, I'll just point out something here. For me, you see that my midheaven, my Venus, and my sun, there, look at these lines. Look at where they go through. Yeah. And this is all based on my chart. And so this would kind of just tell you the most, let's say, optimal places for me to live if I want, in terms of like success. And my mouse is acting up, Mercury retrograde again. But anyway, you see that line. I mean, it goes through through basically like Chicago and Illinois and Kentucky and Alabama. And I know it's interesting, right? So that would be kind of like the best place where, I mean, it's Venus. It would be love. It would be money. It would be success. It's my midheaven. It would be, so those are the lines where I would thrive if I moved there. And how funny, you see it goes through Florida. Yeah. The exact area where my parents are looking to buy a place. Right? It's like, oh gosh, not Panama City. It's like that area, Panama City area, but to the, I was just there. I was just there when I had my Jupiter return. I already forgot the name of the town, but it's like that area. But it's is it Destin? It's up there. But isn't that interesting? So yeah, this is a lot of, like, there's so much you can do with astrology. You can look at this. You can look at you can see where you shouldn't live. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. So but yeah, there will be more information next week. Shadow Cat, great question. Stevie, you asked, can we join now or is it the 12th? It will be the 12th. It will be the 12th. This is just me walking you through some of the features, kind of showing you the new site. Again, I took you through a test site, so you're not seeing everything in full, because Mercury is retrograde, and that's another reason why I didn't want to do it today. Mercury's retrograde, so yeah, on the 12th is when, and you'll get an email if you go to greatawakener.com right now. If you signed up, you'll get an email, but I'm still going to post something here on YouTube as well. All right. All right. Oh, Allie, you're a newbie. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Queen of Speed. Oh, cool. I was wondering about that site versus being here. Okay. Yeah. Great. I'm glad that, yeah, it's just, again, nothing's changing with this channel. Yeah, sure, there may be a few adjustments. So I'm not working 80 hours a week, but I don't have any plans right now. But again, I know that someone asked me this last week. I just don't want to make anything solid while Mercury's retrograde. I don't want to say anything. I'm just saying I have no plans. And this is, the Great Awakener is just an extension of where of this site, where I can speak a little bit more freely, do a little bit more longer readings, do everything that we just walked through. Yeah. All right. All right. Angel Hawk, are you grandfathering people in for pricing like the early birds, or will we all be founding members? You are going to find out on the 12th. On August 12th, you will find out the answer to your question. And you will be happy. I think all of y'all are going to be happy, but it still is like, I just don't want to, again, Mercury retrograde. And I showed you from the beginning how Mercury has completely had a major impact on me this time around. And again, I have not felt it this way since, I mean, like, oh gosh, I really have to look back at Mercury and Leo. I really think that was 2017, the last time Mercury was retrograde in Leo. Yeah. All right. Snuffleupagus. It's so good to see you. Thanks for being here. We'll be getting the word out. Consider us your marketing team. Well, thank you. I need one. I really appreciate it. Yes, and that's the other thing. If you can, get the words out, spread the word, that would be great. I mean, it's been a lot of work. Again, that through Mercury retrograde, I was able to see things that help me bring more on that. I'm really excited, like more features than originally planned. So, but yes, I really appreciate it. That was such a sweet thing to say. But yeah, I really just, speaking of the aspect that I just talked about, that's happening, 2 weeks from now? Yeah, I guess you could consider this part of it. When I was talking about Uranus sextile Neptune and the big movement that we had back then. Yeah. Here we go. Here's a big movement, big spiritual movement. All right. So I'm sorry. Okay. Pam, why do you have the Pisces glyph tattooed on your wrist? That's a really great question. And it's so funny because I'm glad you saw that. And if you are a Pisces, you know that I have this because I proudly show it off like very Nine of Cups. Like, look at, but I have no, so my progressed sun is in Pisces right now. FYI, my progressed moon is in Cancer. My progressed ascendant is in Cancer. It's going to be, and it's at 14 degrees. So it will be right at that Jupiter-Venus conjunction next week in Cancer. But ascendant's not as strong as the sun and the moon when you look at your progress chart, your secondary progression. But I have this tattoo because it's for someone that's very dear to me. That's why I have a Pisces tattoo. Even though I have nothing in my chart, my natal chart that is Pisces, it is, yeah. Okay. So I will talk more about it on the Great Awakener. I'll probably do a live stream because it has to do with some of the life experiences that I've had that made me who I am today. And I feel like really helps me put me in a place where I can help support others based on the experiences that I went through. And I always came out on top. Okay. And then Kristen, you asked, the subscription tiers will be posted on your new website on launch day. Yeah, well, you're going to be getting an email if you signed up to thegreatawakener.com. And I will post it here as well in the community posts. Okay. So yes. And then yes. I'm very excited. I'm so excited. Cecilia, you asked, how do I know what tier member I'm on? I come on this chat late. Well, thank you so much for being a member. There's 3 tiers. So it's tier 1, you're good. Tier 2, you're really good. Tier 3, really good and legendary. So and it's based on, and they're different contribution. So that's how you would know. Or you could, I think that you can just go to your membership page and it'll show you. Spontaneous Alchemy with Dakota. I love your profile name. Even my husband that just rolls his eyes all over this morning, he asked if I would be spending time with Jimmy this morning, and I'm blowing him away with how accurate you are. That's amazing. I love it. I had, back when I was doing private readings, and again, I'm so sorry. I hopefully, and that I know that I'm going to get questions about that. It isn't the frequently asked questions. I'm not doing private readings at this time. Hopefully one day, yes, I can go back to it. But I remember one of the last ones that I had, it was just so funny because her husband he popped in and he like leaned in really close. And he's like, "You're real. You're really real. My wife watches you all the time. I just wanted to make sure you were real. This is actually happening." I thought it was hilarious. And he was like, he said that he watched it. It was a funny moment, but that I loved your comment. In 4D, you said the connection between the planet's placements and the expansion of knowledge via the internet is beyond coincidence. Whoa, that's a little, wait. The connection between the planet's placements and the expansive knowledge via the internet is beyond coincidence. Yes. Okay, now I get it. Yeah. Oh, yes. I always say coincidence is a wink from the universe. Okay? So, yes. Marshall, good to see you. Thank you so much for your super sticker. You're amazing. All of you are so amazing. Oh, Rebecca, you said, are the courses going to be live or pre-recorded? No, it's all live stream. Every single one is live. Everything will be live streams. And you know, when you're a member, right? Like you're just gonna hop on and there you go. Yeah, all live streams. And all live streams, yes, will also be archived. So once it's done, just like this video, you're gonna have access to it. Let's say, you know, you didn't have time to get a live stream, you were working or something like that, you're still going to be able to see it and leave comments, everything like set up like a YouTube page. Yeah. But again, I just don't want to say anything like crazy, like, okay, but yes. And then Roberta, do you believe you are a starseed? That's a really good question. And I feel like that I have a different idea of, it's a little, yeah. I believe that, oh gosh, that's such a complicated, I'll answer that later. But I think that, I think there's something more. Okay. I think there's something more that exists, that like more than a starseed. And I think that there may even be a new word for starseed too, by the way. All right. So AFL, you said you've been on the spiritual journey for several years and have never subscribed to anyone until you. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. And a super sticker too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Oh my gosh. That really does mean so much to me. And so y'all are so amazing. And that's the other thing. Remember, I am an empath too. Like I feel energy and I'm just very sensitive to energy. And it's just, again, like I said earlier, words are energy, and even like your comments and everything like that. It's so meaningful. It's so meaningful. Everything. And you'll even see that on my birth chart. You'll see what makes me like an empath. And so I got Mars in the Cancer, first of all, but in my second, but Chiron, I mean, like there's a lot, but yeah, I've always been very sensitive to energy. But thank you so much, y'all. Y'all are amazing. I love connecting with you. I see I've gone a little bit over, and I am going to end this with a big thank you and gratitude for all of you. And I'm just very excited. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend with this full moon in Aquarius. Even though it did happen late, right? 3 a.m., you're still feeling it. You're going to be feeling it today. You're going to be feeling it tomorrow. Remember, the energies of a full moon, they have a big, they're long lasting. Yeah. And so I really want you to just really absorb it and really absorb this full moon. It's, you know, big turning point for you. Maybe there's something in your life that's ending for this new beginning. Remember, I said there's a lot of things happening now, especially when we get to Virgo season. That is what, a week from now. Oh yeah. Remember, the Prism portal is breaking things down for you to have your breakthrough. Same thing with Virgo season. We're going to hit that new moon in Virgo. We got the South Node in Virgo. Thus, the moon will conjunct Virgo. We got a lot happening, okay? We have a lot happening. In fact, when the moon conjuncts Virgo, when the moon in Virgo conjuncts the South Node in Virgo, it's going to happen at 18 degrees, which is the Virgo degree. And it's just, it has a kick to it, that 18-degree point. But 1 + 8 = 9, right? 9, completion, fulfillment, endings, preparing for the new beginning. Yeah. With the South Node, like letting things anyway, there's a lot of changes that y'all are going through, a lot of new exciting things, new paths that you're moving on to right now, and you're continuing to do so. And so, as I've been saying since March, this is the month where you want to take inspired action right now to put yourself where you want to be by February 2026, because as soon as we hit September 1st, that's when Saturn moves back into Pisces. That's when Mercury, there's just so many things where it's like, this is the window that you have now. That's really great. Okay. And you can still do it in September. You can still do it, but it's eclipse season. It's eclipse is going to be happening. So, there's a couple wild months coming up. But anyway, y'all are amazing. So great to see you. I love your comment about, I'm going to talk about sound. I'm going to talk about frequency. I'm going to talk about sound. I'm going to tell all of that. Again, everything's going to be, I just didn't want to put anything out now because Mercury Retrograde has had that impact. I got to wait until it goes direct, because I'm sure there's going to be more revisions and things anyway with Mercury Retrograde. So y'all, thank you so much for joining. And I'm going to put this up. And if you haven't signed up on greatawakener.com, you're going to get the email. It's just like your email. So we can set, I'll send you that email in terms of we're live. Here's the pricing, all of that. And a lot more information that, again, I just wanted to wait until we get to, the 12th. And for all of y'all, get excited. Again, August 12th is a great day. Luckiest day of the month. Venus conjunct Jupiter. It's amazing. And then this weekend, you're just absorb this full moon. It's all about the collective, okay? And awakening. All right. Y'all, thank you so much. I will see you soon. I gotta set up. Oh my gosh, I gotta set up your live streams for this month. Okay, I'll do that. All right. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. Did I forget anything? I think I said everything. That's the other thing. I didn't even Anyway, all right. Y'all are amazing. This is me during Mercury Retrograde. I'm gonna let you go. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here, and have an amazing weekend. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you soon. All right. Bye-bye.